Hi guys, it's me Jar. Welcome back to episode 6 of my hardcore Minecraft series. Today's episode is a very simple one. I'm not building any farms or doing any sort of maintenance. I am simply going to build. That is my only goal for this episode, is to just start building up some of the village. So I want to hopefully get a bit of the sort of cliffside part of the village done. As you can see in the distance, I've got some white wool marking out some places for some more buildings. So yep, as I mentioned, it is going to be basically a building episode with a slight twist than what I usually do, where I just time-lapse all my builds. I will do a lot of my building, and then I'll come back to me to kind of talk through how I'm detailing a bit, rather than just the same old boring. You just see me do a time-lapse, because I want to try and keep what I'm doing a little bit more interesting and not just the same old. And there's a block missing on my tent. Be right back. There we go, much better. That doesn't upset me quite as much. So, as you can see, blocks in, and yeah, we are gonna just basically crack on. So I'm gonna do a bit of resource gathering, montage that together, and you will meet me back just before we get some building done. Hey guys, and welcome back from the montage. So I'm going to do the little building section next, slightly different than what I have done in previous videos. I'm going to do a bit of first person stuff, showing you how I build, talking through it, before I kind of finish off with a load of time-lapse sort of stuff. And then I'm going to come back and do some detailing with you as well. So without further ado, we're going to cut over to Building Jar, who's going to talk you through what the hell he's doing. Hey guys, just before I start the first build of the episode, I'm just going to quickly go around the village and dot out where I'd like to place some of the more unique buildings that are going to be popping up at points. So I'm just going to quickly go do that, you'll see that, and then we will get straight into that first person build as I said. And we're back. And as you can see, I nipped around the village, placing some signs down for places like taverns, barracks, a little mystery one that I've got a big project over on that side of that mountain that I do not want to disclose at this time. But yes, we've got a bit more of an outline of what the village is going to become. But we are now going to look at starting this house here behind me. And this is the house I was going to talk through as I build it. So, let's crack on. So guys, we're here for try 2. Because I just built this almost to roof level and realised I hadn't actually pressed record. So I've torn it down and I'm starting again so you can actually see it and I can explain it. Hopefully I can still do as good a take as I did the first time. So, starting with the corners. So the way I like to build this up is I kind of pillar up 5 on my corners. I should make sure that was 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. And I get all my pillars in place. And I'm going for a slightly bigger sort of layout than I did last time on those sort of few houses. So I don't want to go too grand. So it kind of feels really out of place because I do worry that sometimes the villager trading hub's a bit massive compared to everything else, but I'm kind of split. I kind of like how it sort of stands out massively, but sometimes I think it's just a bit too much. So thoughts of the future, you never know, nothing wrong with ever changing a plan. What was that one? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yep. So I'm just going to quickly whiz around, get these all in place. Okay, pillars in place, and I'm just going to do sort of where I want my porch area to be as well. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3, and 4. I want this to be a little bit lower so it kind of stands out nicer. 2, 3, 4. Excellent. And then, continuing that sort of theme that you can sort of see over at the sort of base of each of the buildings, that they're on nice solid foundations. I'm going to just continue a border of stone all the way around between everything. So there we have it. So we've got the sort of foundations and the pillars in. So this is where I'm going to add in my walls. So I'm thinking I'm going to try and be a bit more adventurous than I have been with the sort of smaller buildings. Add a little bit more sort of texture and quirkiness to this. So it looks like it's had a little bit more level of design placed into it. So I'm just going to quickly get these walls in. I've got my blank canvas to kind of work from. Okay, walls are in. So I'm just going to change up the colour of the wall. So I'm looking to sort of distinguish this house a bit more significant in its sort of status. So I'm going for a nice sort of terracotta. Let's not fill in the corners because that's a waste. Okay, and down there and all the way up to there. And then this is going to kind of make my doorway sort of pop a little bit more, distinguish it. Okay, and kind of recycle a bit of the older village, which is always good. Recycling is always good. Okay, so this is where I got to when I had been recording, so this is a bit of deja vu for me. But I'm going to start putting in the roof. So, the roof. So, my idea here is I've got sort of a very simple little porch area and then my main roof kind of domes over, so as we would be facing it over here, it domes over with a small little dome for the sort of kind of porchway. And then I think I might just snip this down here a little bit, so it's a little bit more of a shallow, smaller room just off to the side, and that's going to have a sort of sharper sloping roof, or maybe not actually. I think I might change up from what I was originally thinking. I might just keep it all at the same level and have the roof kind of jut out to the right, and then add in a nice sort of window, because I think having a sort of a sloped roof here with no window and stuff seems like a bit of a missed opportunity when you've got this like lovely sort of mountainside, a few random caves that I need to patch up. Okay, so yeah, I think I'm gonna stick with that. So first things first, let's get this little porchway on. On the inside. Okay, that looks weird. No. Nope, nope, nope. So, taking a quick look from here, so as you can see, that's the sort of peak of the main house, and then the little porchway, and I'm just going to take that terracotta up so it kind of fills in those sort of negative spaces, so you can sort of see how that's the first wall of the house. Much better. Now, on to the rest of the roof. Okay, so let's just clear the scaffolding away so you can sort of see a little nicer. And I might just use said scaffolding to get you a bit more of an aerial view. So if I just go up here, so as you can see, got me a little porch area. I've kind of distinguished that extra little bit of roof so it stayed a bit lower than the main sort of part, but sort of variation in height, which kind of just makes it look a little bit more interesting. So my next thing is I'm going to go and adjust sort of the trimmings of the entire sort of roof, just to kind of stand out with that sort of deep slate tile kind of look. Okay, so I'm just going to quickly cut to that. So here we have the sort of finished template of my house. So as you can see, I think I'm going to leave the porch area void of the sort of the trim. But yeah, a little bit of variation in the roof, just to kind of mix it up. But now I have a sort of solid canvas in which I can sort of now go around, sort of detail, add some things in. Such just like a bit of a fence here, some sort of boxes, details, plants and stuff. And just make sure that it looks a little bit more lived in than it currently does. Because at the moment, it just looks like a box and some colours. So we really need to kind of go around and pretty it up. So that is what I'm going to go do now. And then we'll see where we get. And here we have it. The completed exterior of this sort of little kind of mini manor house. Don't know what to kind of call it. I'm envisioning some sort of merchant with a little bit more money and sort of power and influence in this little village who would possibly live here. And like a nice rise up to his house, and then sort of a nice little path of garden, seating area here that goes around all the way to the back, which has got like a bit of a own private garden with some of its own food and veg. Coming around to a sort of a little wood chopping area. So this guy could be the guy who kind of chops wood and maybe sells it on, or I'm thinking I might change up at the back here, maybe even get rid of this window and like change it into a chimney. But yeah, so some of my sort of like favourite details is this kind of little bay window here with the sort of the flower and the lamp outside the front of it. And I really quite liked sort of the texture of the back of the open bookcases, or is it chiseled bookcases? Like when you kind of face them the correct way, they kind of just look like a sort of cardboard box or a sort of lighter looking sort of crate, which I think kind of blends in with sort of nice storage, and again sort of like a fruit crate again maybe. So I'm envisioning sort of all these different little boxes and stuff around here is part of this like person sort of identity who lives here. And then again, another one of my sort of little favourite things is just this like nice little entryway with the clay pots. Sort of mixed it up with one that looks kind of, it's like a grown a bit fresher, it's been snipped, and this one's a little bit more overgrown, so it's not like perfectly maintained, which kind of fits with a merchant who kind of moves around and stuff. So here we have my first little nice bigger building, and I think it's going to look a little bit more. Oh, I haven't even looked at it from this angle. I quite like it from this angle. Really sort of stands out as sort of prominence, and it's kind of clever actually because the wall kind of makes it look even bigger, so it doesn't feel so dwarfed compared to the big villager hub. So yes, quite pleased with that. So next, my plan is to, as you can see with the other little bits of white wall, is to try and get some more buildings in, and I might have a crack at the market, so I don't end up with that sort of disconnected sort of bridge between the builds and stuff. So get these buildings done, get some market stalls up. Might have to just farm up my sheep a bit more so I can get some wool, and maybe do a flower run. And I think in the future I will be building a automated wool farm for all my colours and stuff, because I have plans where I could do with some more wool types and a bigger quantity of it to kind of plan out a bit better in my world. So I'm going to move over to the time lapses, and I'll see you on the other side. Hey guys, and welcome back from the time lapses. So, as you can see behind me, we have completed a lot more building in the village. I've added in 4 more buildings that you can sort of see behind me, 2 sort of smaller ones and 2 slightly grander ones with a sort of a higher paid merchant's build. Like you can just see it with the black trimmings on the roof. And then I've made a good start on the market. It only has 1 stall at the moment, but that will increase once I've got my wool farm set up, because I'm at the bottom of the barrel for my bits of wool. But as you can see, we've made a sort of some big progress and really sort of tied in all this space together a lot better than it was before. But anyway, that's it from me for the episode, for episode 6. If you've enjoyed yourselves, please think about a subscribe, hitting the like button, or even dropping a comment and let me know what you think. But until the next episode, that's it from me, Jar. See you next time.